Hello and welcome to a new episode of New Earth Awakening. Today we welcome to the show Isabelle von Boetticher, your personal energy management and leadership development catalyst. Isabelle is a former corporate VP turned holistic health and life coach. After 2 decades leading global teams, she reinvented herself at midlife to help other high achieving women to do the same, but from the inside out. She now guides women 45 plus through career transitions by helping them heal emotional blockages, restore their energy, and reconnect with their feminine power. Blending modern science with ancestral wisdom, her personal energy management method empowers women to reset, recharge, and lead their next chapter with clarity, confidence, and joy. It's awesome that you are so into leadership. That's one of my favorite topics as well.
Okay, so yeah, I started off working in the corporate business and in leadership development, skill development. So very much like being focused on getting the best out of our talents so that they perform the best. And so I climbed the ladder and became successful and became a vice president even in a big corporation responsible for over 120,000 employees. But on the side, I also exhausted myself in this work. And I think I concentrated everything on giving my best to my clients, giving my best to my boss, my colleagues, and at home, obviously, to my son, my relationship, my friends, always being in this overgiving status. And as a highly sensitive person that I am and an empath, it kind of is something that I do naturally. This is like, I love doing it, but I forgot really to put myself first. So at one point, I was really at the end, I was like burned out and I could not perform my work the way I wanted to. And I didn't feel recognized with all that I bring to the table because it was always just like, doing the best and performing on the high end and making these leaders become better and better on a professional level. And I saw like that my own professional work is not getting there if I don't take care of myself and my personal life and what's happening inside of me. So I dived back into teachings that I had learned back when I was 25, like yoga and meditation. I've been practicing that. But I think I was always just practicing it like a sport, like you go to the gym. Oh no, so I go to the yoga studio once per week. And at that point, when I was really like burned out, I realized, no, let's use this more in a way that it really helps me, because I was feeling every time so good when I did yoga and I would meditate. And I started just doing it naturally more often and realized that there is an impact even after I do it. So I used all of this and I did then a coaching certificate to learn more about myself, actually not to teach yes, or to use it for my clients, but I realized that all these teachings, I can use that now. For my clients and even with my colleagues or anyone in my life to like improve our relationship, but also to help them move on further. So when I stepped out of the corporate world, I wanted to do that more. I wanted to help people develop on the personal level a little bit more to also obviously improve their career life so that it's not an either or, that you actually understand that if you want to thrive professionally as a leader, without taking care of your personal needs, you will never succeed. So this is so important to bring it together. So how do you deal with your own personal issues? How do you take care, not just, by the way, of your mental health and physical health, but, and this is where I'm working on a holistic level, what's happening on my emotional and on my spiritual health? So these are the things that I bring to the table when I work with my clients to really look into like, how do I deal with my inner emotions and feelings, and like, how do I feel connected to my higher purpose, to like, why am I here? And that can be totally, first of all, disconnected or separate from your actual career that you are performing, but it should be ideally aligned. So I work with people on a physical, emotional, spiritual, and mental level to align who they are with what they do and what they want to achieve in life.
Thank you, Isabel. It's really amazing what you bring to the table. I love that so much. And I love this topic of leadership so much because leadership starts within yourself. If you're not able to lead yourself, to coach yourself, to be a sovereign being, then how are you going to be able to guide anybody else? Right?
Mm.
It's an inside out job. And also, on the other hand, you mentioned the words highly sensitive empath. That's exactly one of my favorite topics as well. And also, you mentioned that there is only one you basically in life. It's you, the way you show up in your private life, in yourself, in your relationship with yourself, in your private relationships. It's going to be the same way that you're going to be showing up in a
Absolutely.
business environment, right? So let's dive a little bit deeper into that by you telling us your own definition of the word healing. What
So
does it mean
healing
to
for
you?
me, obviously, there is the what we have learned from, like, say, like the medical system around it. So like you have an injury, you go to the doctor, they, I don't know, make surgery on you or something on your wound, and then you are healed. So this is obviously healing too. But for me, healing starts also with the intangible wounds. So things that in ourselves that we would like to improve. So it does not necessarily has to be broken. It's just like something where we feel there is something that's holding us back. And so if I start working now with what's inside of me, so this is like not just my physical body, but it's also my feelings and emotions. And obviously, if we have experienced trauma, and again, not physical trauma, but things that have happened to us and that are just like really making us being still frozen if we think back to it or if we get triggered. And that can be something as a child, for example, parents divorcing or other kids bullying you, or even little acts of somebody saying something not nice to you, and that might not even have been meant mean, but you have perceived it as a wound, as a trauma, as something that is really shaking who you are, or like not making you feel comfortable. So these are all kinds of wounds. And so if I'm talking now about healing, is to allow yourself to go back and work with these emotions that are probably stuck inside of your body, and to look at them and to heal them in a way that they will not be triggered by same incidences again. So healing in that sense means, first of all, acknowledging what is. So where am I at with my emotions, with this feeling of not feeling nice, or something is like out of alignment, and then looking into it. And you can do this obviously alone, but you can do this probably better if you are guided and supported with somebody. As like you go to the doctors if your bones are broken, so you will probably not heal that on your own. So like with emotional wounds and traumas, you go also and see either a therapist or a coach, a mentor who can like guide you into what is that wound actually. And it's an energy flow inside of your body that is blocked. So we will look into it and make it flow again. That's like, in short, to say like what healing means is like to have a look at what is, and then allow yourself to unblock what is holding this blockage actually. And that is something healing in the sense, because you will now not be triggered anymore. If for example, going back to the example of having been bullied as a child, and repetitively, maybe in your career, people bullied you again. If you have healed, why was this happening and where was I emotionally at that state? You will now be energetically a different person. And so you will be healed in the sense of like, if something triggers you, it won't. It just like will not trigger you anymore because that wound is healed.
Thank you very much. And I love how you said first you need to acknowledge what's going on, that there is actually something that could be improved, let's put it that way, or healed. I love that very much. And I also love how you say it's not about brokenness. Yeah. Because some people, for example, when we start on our journey, sometimes we feel broken, we feel
Mm.
defeated, we feel on our knees, right? When we start this awakening journey of, let's call it personal development, sometimes it can be very, very heavy, but it is at some stage this realization of, hey, I have never been broken. That was just a label that was put upon me by shame or whatever it was. And once you go out of this vibrational frequency of shame, you're not attracting any longer these kind of situations. And if you do,
Exactly.
you show up completely different. It doesn't shake you anymore. That's what you mean with this trigger. So I love the way that you explained that. Thank you.
It's not about like you have been broken or now you have to become somebody else. Healing is not becoming somebody else. Healing is remembering who you initially were when you were born. You are well like of a perfect being when you were born. So then life happens and some wounds appear, and you just like have to. The healing part is actually remembering the perfect, unique being that you were, and getting back to that state. It doesn't mean that we all have to become children again, but energetically, the quality of now with awareness, putting yourself in the state of energy that you just so beautifully described. So like getting out of guilt or shame or whatever hurt you had, and going back into this vibration of children, but now with this awareness. That's the difference between actually children and an adult person who is healed, is that you can be in that vibration, but you are aware of it, because children, they are just naturally in it. They don't do anything consciously to get there.
Exactly. That's it. That's the difference, right? It's like you have this discernment that has evolved from within, from the experiences that you made that may have triggered you, that may have brought you on your knees, but you gained a lot of knowledge, a lot of discernment out of them. And you can be this playful, innocent being of light that you came here to be, as you said, because that's who you came here to be.
We
You came
came
to
here
shine
to
your
have
light.
fun and joy,
So
even in our business careers. It's not only like, okay, career is serious and it's not fun and it's hard work. No, no. If you have chosen the career that you really like, and then you are becoming aligned with who you really are, you will have fun and you will thrive the most, the more joy you actually live in your career. So that's so important.
yes, I love how you touched on that, because some people believe that they need to have this
Mm.
special mask or persona that they bring forth when they
Mm.
are in a corporate environment. What do you
I
have
have
to
to say
say
that,
about
first of
that?
all,
What would
yes,
you
I
say?
believed in that too. So when I entered the corporate world over 30 years ago, that was what I was thinking. So now I'm a businesswoman and I was only 25 years old. So I have to like be this serious person and like dress like a guy and be always like very serious. And of course, over the years, I understood, hey, this is not where I am getting to success. So I was feeling at one point, and this is what I'm trying to teach and make people discover. If you look at the moments of success in your career, when did you have them? Mostly you will see it's when you were in flow and everything was easy. It's not when you were sitting there and working on a concept or on a strategy and like working until 2 a.m. in the morning and you did not feel that joy, and probably at this moment your career did not really move on. Maybe hard work is part of getting to somewhere, but to really thrive, to really make an impact in what you do in life, you will not get there if you don't have that uplifting energy of being in flow and joyfully enjoying this moment that you have created, by the way, yourself. It's super important. This is very limiting if you think that everything has to be hard work, and other than that, you will not get further. That's like you put this glass ceiling that women often talk about in careers. You put that on yourself. So break it by believing that joy is what is super important in successful career development.
Thank you for touching on that. Like when I also started my journey on these corporations, at some stage, somebody told me that you need to have this other persona that you embody when you come into the office. And at that moment, I just was like, what? Excuse me? What? Sorry, I can understand that. Like, there is only one me. How am I supposed to be this other persona somewhere? Like, heh? Like masks didn't really resonate with me, but that made the whole experience a little bit more,
Yes.
yeah, let's say complicated, for me, because I think that's a coping mechanism that we can use sometimes to be able to cope with situations that feel uncertain to us. And I believe that in the corporate environment, there are a lot of situations that may seem a little bit insecure. And so this coping mechanism may help, as it helped you until you realized it doesn't help me anymore. It doesn't serve me anymore. And you changed your belief system around it. So there is that. Thank you, Isabel. This story is really amazing. I hope it reaches the right
Yeah,
people, who need to hear this.
understand, like, even if you are unique and you are like one person, you are always the same, that obviously you have different facets and you show up differently, still being you. So it does not mean that you are schizophrenic if you maybe in different situations use more of your feminine energies, or in other situations, maybe more of your masculine energies are required. So this is very important to understand that you play with this again consciously. And a very simple example here again in leadership is obviously if you are supposed to do a creative work right now, it's obviously better to use more of your feminine energies to get your creative juices really flowing, right? So that like being more collaborative and open and embracing things. But if you, for example, have to close the budget for the next business plan that you are writing, or you have to do this very directed way, so you have to be on the point and fast and directive, that is more like what we call masculine energies, then you bring out those more. And it's still, all of this is you. So it's more like understanding which situation, which task needs what part of you more. And it doesn't mean that you put on a mask and that you are a different persona. It's always you. Super important to understand.
Thank you for this differentiation. Exactly. So now we're going to look at your dog first. Can you tell us the name? He just
That's
joined
Henry,
the conversation.
my little pal here. Yes.
Hi, Henry. So I hope the viewers can also see the beautiful Henry. He came to join us. So you mentioned the word schizophrenic. I love that so much. Like there are different roles that we play, our higher selves, multidimensional beings of light, all of those words that we know about. So yeah, it's kind of a schizophrenic construct per se already. It's like, yeah, I have these parallel lives. And I love how you said that. And now we're going to dive deeper into the divine feminine and the divine masculine, because you already started with that, and that's really awesome. So could you please give us your own definitions of what is the divine feminine energy and what is the divine masculine energy, and how do we balance them? You touched on that already, but maybe you can
Okay,
expand
so
it a little
first,
bit further.
feminine and divine masculine means like these are different energies that are in all of us. So it doesn't mean that men only have masculine energies and women only have feminine energies, right? So we all have both. Usually women have probably a little bit more of feminine energies in a, should I say, in a neutral state of being. Men probably have a little bit more, maybe 55%, if you want to put it in numbers, or 60% of masculine energies. And then the other part is feminine. And we can, again, all of us use consciously these energies and make one being more, as I just explained. So you have the choice of playing with it. But first, like, what is the difference, right? So again, feminine energies are more the ones that are receiving, cooperative, what comes to mind, nourishing, giving. And male energies are probably more like directive, being more on the point. And for example, if you think of this, there's this little exercise. There's a lake, and feminine and masculine energies are staying on one side of that lake, and you tell them, like, you have to go to the other side. And there's a dragon in that lake. So how do you get to that? So the guy, the masculine energy, is going to take his arms and like say, look, I'm going to go straight through the lake and fight that dragon and go to the other side. The feminine will just look around and see, well, I just like go around the lake and get to the other side. So without even needing to fight, I'm just like, taking the safer road and incorporating like everything into the journey, not just like getting to the goal, but like, okay, I'm incorporating all of that. So these energies are just different, but we all have them in us. And so it's more connecting ourselves more consciously, as I said, in different situations to one or the other if needed. But we can just live our balance of feminine and masculine energies in our everyday lives as we want, So as I said, like, we have the power to choose to act more out of feminine or masculine energies. And I have a little exercise that I do with my clients when I'm coaching them. It's really literally just taking two papers, writing on one feminine energy and on the other masculine. And then I let them step onto each of them after each other and feel how they feel when they are more connected with these feminine energies, and just allow them to experience what it feels like if you are more in your feminine energies, and then consciously stepping out of that paper that you're stepping on, and then now shaking this energy off and stepping onto the other paper, and then experiencing the other energy, really allowing yourself to feel it. Because all of what we are talking about today is beautiful in talking about it and in theory. If you do not experience it physically in your body, you will not understand it really truly, and you will probably not use it or be able to use it. You really have to experience the different energies to be able to tap into them.
Thank you very much. I love that. And the ending was amazing. So let's dive deeper into embodiment and integration, which is basically what you said. We can talk and talk and talk a lot about these topics, and it's amazing and inspiring and wow. Amazing, right? But we need to be able to embody it, to integrate that into our daily lives. So how do you handle this integrational process of centering yourself and looking at a task and deciding, is this a task that will require me to utilize my divine feminine, masculine, or how am I going to approach this? Or am I going to just step back and let it be for now? There are a lot of different choices. Once you are in Christ consciousness, you are in the consciousness of choice, and that's where the power lies, and you are able to do thousands of different decisions. How do you integrate and embody this wisdom?
That what is your energy body, and that we all have an energy body, which is basically our thoughts and our emotions that are just vibrations and frequencies in us and even around us. So if you have understood that, there's a theory obviously around it, but it is proven. So because you can measure these vibrations, right? With the ECG and an electroencephalogram, you can measure the vibrations of our heart. You can measure the vibrations of our brain waves, which are where our thoughts and our feelings come from. Our emotions are managed. So if you have understood that this is your energy body, and your thoughts influence how you feel or influence your emotions, and also the other way around, the emotions influence how you think, so you can change how you feel by changing your thoughts. So if I'm in a bad mood, or if I'm just feeling super down and I don't even know why, I'm just like waking up one morning and I'm like, meh, I have to like not good. I just can change my thoughts. I can just like say, hey, it's an amazing day. I feel powerful. And that will influence how I feel. And that will influence my emotions. So what I do to integrate all of this in my daily life is understanding like when we get up in the morning, we brush our teeth and we take a shower. We maybe even do this twice per day. So why don't we take the same care of our energy body? I do a little soul care ritual every morning. So I check in with my energy body. Where am I today? And I even have now the modalities to check in, like, and knowing where is my energy level, really percentage wise. Like, am I at 100% or not? Am I below 80? And so if I know this now, I can level it up. I can recharge my energy. So I really have I call it my soul care morning ritual. And there are different ways of doing it. Some people use breath work, others do meditation. I do a mix of that, and I do body movement as well to raise my personal frequencies, my vibration, my energy level. And I do this every morning. And by the way, also sometimes in the evenings to digest like everything that has happened in my life in the day to like, okay, I want to like be able to sleep nice and not having still things turning in my mind while I want to fall asleep. So like closing the day is also something, again, you take a shower, you brush your teeth. So why not also do the same cleansing of your energy body at the end of the day and just getting rid of all the negative experiences and energies that you were exposed and just like, coming back to you and feeling aligned again.
I love that so much. So you touched on vibrational frequency and that it can be measured. I mean, it emits even sounds that we can hear, and our organs are also emitting sounds. And there is the sound of a healthy organ versus the
Every cell,
sound of an
yes. You can like
unhealthy
the cell of
organ,
every
you
vibration
know?
can be measured. And like, so this, I think we call this the electromagnetic field that we emit constantly. So yeah.
I love that. Thank you for, reminding us of that. That's really important to know that everything is basically already getting consolidation by studies and all of that. Like we are really on this time and age where
Yes,
things are getting more
exactly. It's not just like, because
tangible
lots of
for
people, if we
everybody.
talk about energy work, they're like, oh yeah, this is like this woo woo esoteric stuff. And it's not, or maybe it is, but it is also very science based, like there is a voltage in every body cell that you can measure because there is a difference in the voltage of the membrane of the cell and the nucleus. And it's, I think a healthy cell has something like 7 milli nanoampere or something like this. And cancerous cells have a very low ampere. So like this is scientifically proven, and it's not woo-woo. It's not esoteric. It's not like based on belief. It is really based on science.
Exactly. That's the thing, it's like there is only as there is only one you that can show up in your life. There
Yes,
is only one world there. So there is no woo woo world and the other world. It is just one world and it's on us, people like you and me and our viewers who step forward and bring this wisdom forth and are like, hey, this is just one and the same. It's just different
absolutely.
languages that we're using, right?
Yeah.
One language is more mathematical with measurements, and the other
Yeah,
language is
yeah. And I'd like
more
to come back
philosophical,
to the
maybe,
science part and to the healing.
right?
I just
Creative.
said the example of cancer. So like even everybody knows that like if you have a, I don't know, first or second stage cancer, and then you have to take chemotherapy and all of this, if you in your mind have decided, this is maybe working or maybe not, this is a choice that you make. So like the best chemotherapy will not work. And that's what all um, cancer doctors tell their patients. You have to decide to wanting to live, wanting to heal, and raising your vibrations and being in a good mood, because the cells are like exposed to extreme treatments, right? If you do chemotherapy and all of that. So how can you support that healing if you don't believe in it, if you think like, well, I don't know, my life is maybe not worth it anymore. So it's a super, super important to support with your thoughts, and it's your choice what you think. For cancer patients, the healing is so important that you take also responsibility of it, and not just like put it in the hands of a chemotherapy that needs to be done maybe, or a different therapy, I don't know. But it's important that you choose to have uplifting thoughts and feelings. So that's why I think most cancer patients know that their doctors tell them, like, do things that make you feel good. Do everything that you can do to feel uplifted and joy, because how you feel is impacting the voltages of the cancer cells and of all of your body, in the sense of like healing by changing the pair of your cells. It's super important.
Thank you for sharing that. And, cancer is also basically the result of the end of cooperation within the body. So the cells stop cooperating, and that's how cancer comes to be, And that also gives us another insight into our humanity, into our community, basically. It's like when we cease to cooperate with each other, that's when humanity starts to
Yeah.
feel sick,
Yeah. And even on a larger level, this cooperation and connection has to happen on so many levels, not just like inside of us on a physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual level, but obviously also with others in every cell of our bodies. Like, it is probably what brings humanity to this decisive moment. Like, are we more practicing connection and cooperation, or are we more practicing separation and fear?
Thank you very much. Exactly. That's it. Christ consciousness unites and the opposite
Exactly.
separates. So thanks for reminding us of that. And love versus fear. What are you
Exactly.
choosing continuously in your life? Thank you. So let's dive a little bit deeper into any tools that you may be able to give our audience. You have already shared several, so thanks for that. But is there any tool that you say, this is really fantastic and everybody can do it right now?
Well, so when I work with clients, I also look into their preferences and what comes more naturally to them, right? So I personally, when I work with my clients, I do a chakra balancing. So I use Reiki to check their chakra levels, how they are connected, how they are vibrating, how they are blocked or not blocked. And obviously now I don't tell them like, oh, you have to become a Reiki master to heal. But I show them little tools that they can use to get their chakras into flow. And that could be, for example, I said breath work. It could be meditation. It could be just in general having a soul care ritual that addresses all of your body, that addresses the physical, so some body movement. And if you prefer jogging, then go jogging. If you like yoga, then do yoga. Just like do something that brings your physical body in a nice movement, not like beating yourself up going to the gym 10 hours per day. No, no, no. Something that is really nourishing your physical body and relaxing the muscles. Then do something for your emotional body, right? So like check in with your feelings. Where am I? Why did this hurt me? And this is like some reflection work. And then your mental work. So like you cannot only work. So like even if you have a, I don't know, 10-hour day in the office, you have to have some breaks every now and then. And for the morning ritual, I say like really do some meditation. It does not need to be 1 hour sitting in silence, and can be a meditative walk, or it can be just maybe every morning 5 minutes. That's fine as well. There's so many variations of meditations that will have an impact, not just while you're doing it, but afterwards. It's just important to do it regularly. It's more important than how long you do it. If you do every day 5-minute meditation, it's better than if you do twice per week, 3 hours, definitely. So that's the other part. And then again, this connecting with your higher purpose, like, why are you here? So like I integrate that also in a morning ritual. Do check in with how you feel and if what you want to do in this life, and this is connecting you exactly with more than just you, it's with the others. If you can, are there things that you can share or serve others with? And that should be something, again, that you like doing. Don't do it out of obligation, right? So it is like, is there something that is your superpower or that you like doing that could help others? Well, then share it with them. So it's as simple as that. And yeah, so like what I like to make people understand is like, just have a practice where you take care of yourself regularly on all of these levels. That's what I teach them.
Thank you very much. I love that. Exactly. This journey is the journey of individuation. So everybody needs to get to know themselves on a deeper level. And that is also an important tool to also actually realize when you're in a leadership position and you start projecting your fears or your belief systems upon somebody that is working with you, right? So what would you say about the topic of projection in leadership positions?
Well, again, in general, you start with yourself, right? And you can even take it from your personal life. If you are a parent, you know, like, your fears are projected over to your children. So if you don't want to have your children to be afraid of dogs, but you are super afraid of dogs, it will probably not work. So in the same way, again, start with being aware of whatever your fears are. And if you really want to have your staff improve and, like, you want them to grow and evolve and make a good job, you should just be aware of what are the things that you are afraid of, and do not transfer that to them, and allow them to make their own mistakes. For example, I think this is super important in leadership, right? We know that we have staff that are maybe less experienced than us in some ways, but they might be better qualified in other parts of what they are supposed to do than we are. We are just there to lead them, so to allow them to grow. So you need to delegate, and delegate is not just like delegating a task and then being on them with a whole responsibility. You have to delegate responsibility to, and the freedom to make mistakes. So allow them, create spaces where they can make mistakes and grow. So, like, obviously they should not make 3 times the same mistake, but they should be able to feel that it's okay to not always perform at 100%, and they can come to you for advice or discuss with you what has gone wrong and why, to prevent that for the next time. And probably that will take away some of the fears that you have connected with that. I think if you know more about yourself, automatically you will do less of projection, because you just know, okay, this is not helpful. If I have my fears and I have not worked with them, on them, and improved them, then obviously this is always going to be something that I will project on others. So just like take care of what you know about yourself, and have that courage as a leader to look into your fears and look into your wounds, into your shame, into your guilt, and all of it, even if it's from your personal life. This is going to go impact your business life as well, your leadership style, and all of it.
Thank you very much. So my last question would be, what is your highest vision for the new earth we're co-creating right now?
Okay, my highest vision is that the world right now has more of a critical mass of people who understand that real thriving of our planet and of ourselves. So it's really encompassing it all, right? It's not just like not having any more wars and not having any nature catastrophes, and really living in in a thriving and peaceful way with nature, animals, and other people is working only if we are not just convinced in our minds, but in our hearts and in our actions that we have to collaborate. Have to be connected with each other, and that starts with ourselves. So if I talk about this critical mass of people, this is what I think it needs to heal our planet and to get to that. And so my vision for the future is that we will achieve that, having the critical mass of people who do that, who practice it, and who experience this already, so that it will kind of have a snowball effect and touch others. Because if I am coming from love, I think I can heal somebody who comes from fear. So if we continuously respond to fear-based reactions with love, we can impact and become more people who experience and practice this kind of collaboration and connection way of living and working, obviously. My vision for the future is that we have enough or a critical mass of people who will practice and who live according to this, so that we have the snowball effect, making others discover that this is the way for them too. So if we have a critical mass, and I cannot tell you how many of the 8 billion people that we are on this world it needs, but this is the trust that I have, that we can have a critical mass of people who will impact others to also work more from love, from connection, from collaboration, in order to create world peace, to create an environment that is good for us individually, for every nation, and for the planet, the animals and everything that is living here.
Thank you, Isabel. That's beautiful. I'm with you there. So, is there any parting message that you want to share with the audience?
There are 2 messages. If you want to find out more of your energy body, like where do you lose your energy and how you can prevent losing your energies and heal that, I really invite you to take my energy leak assessment. This is a gift I'm giving to all of your audience to check into that. And another one is really to continuously stay, whatever you want to do in life, stay focused, be passionate, and stay open to the new.
Thank you very much, Isabel. And we will be posting those links down below so people can find out more about you, the work that you are doing. They can find the gift that you're giving us. Thank you for that again. And I hope to have you back one day.
Thank you so
Namaste.
much. Thank you so much, Carolina. It was such a pleasure talking with you and being here. Thank you.